Hey, welcome to another week of Experience Andy Wines Live. This is episode 52. So, with a few breaks in there for Christmas and New Year's and what have you. Otherwise, this is one full year you've joined me on this journey as I explore the world around me through the use of language. So, today I want to show some gratitude as always. Today I want to be thankful for my business partner, Andrew Crum. About 3 months ago, Andrew Crum came on board. We merged our two organizations together. He had a business called Junk Badger Junk Removal. I had Camel Crew Junk Removal. He's a listener of my other podcast. He reached out to me, asked me about a business opportunity. It really was about doing a job. And after 2 months, we decided to merge the organizations. And I'm thankful because on days like today, I get to be down here in New Orleans with my parents, showing them around one of my favorite cities in the country while he's back in the rear with the gear and with the guys and making the business happen. So I'm very fortunate and thankful to have a great business partner that can run the business better than me most days and run the business while I get to go out and explore the world. So that for that I am grateful of. Order of Business Podcast Town, October 4th. I will be doing a live show going over energy and healing and talking for about 45 minutes to an hour about life and how taking care of your mental health and your physical health, how tied together they are, and the power of words so that you, as an individual, refrain from drinking your own poison. So that's what we're going to be really focusing on. October 4th, Podcast Town, live in person, 45 to 60-minute podcast in Waukesha. The link for tickets. Also, if you're a listener of the show, you hit me up. I have a few complimentary tickets laying around. So here in Wisconsin, you want to hear myself and other podcasters doing what they do best, shoot me an email directly and we can hook you up. Otherwise, buy your tickets online, the link below, while they last. There we go. That was my radio pitch to sell tickets. I have background on radio, so I'm used to selling concert tickets in that way. All right, so let's talk about what we're going to talk about today. Not tripping over dollars to pick up dimes. And what this analogy is very simply stating is that often in life we will trip over the thing we really want because we're letting something distract us. And so this came about a while back. I was doing consulting with a woman and she's self-employed and so she has insurance. She has health insurance. And at the beginning of the year, she had planned on making around $50,000 and her insurance costs were going to be around $100. So we're talking 50,000 less 100 a month. We're talking $1,200 less the 50. We're talking $38,800 she was planning on making throughout the year, just straight gross wages, less insurance costs. Yep, this is before rent and the car and taxes and job supplies and all that other stuff. But straight up, 38.8. The year before, she did 40,000, so it was pretty logical. She's going to grow 25% year over year. Good on you. We were doing some consulting a while back, and as we looked at projections for the year, she's going to finish the year closer to 100,000, and her insurance costs are going to double. So now she's looking at $2,400 instead of $1,200, and she was upset. She said, "Now I'm going to have to pay more for insurance, and I wasn't planning on this, and now it's going to have to come out of my pocket, and I didn't budget for this." And da da. And I stopped, and I was like, "Hold on. Would you rather, holistically, have $38,800?" Or would you rather have $97,600? Because that's what you're upset about. That's what you're arguing about. You are literally tripping over dollars to pick up dimes. We're talking about a $38,800 delta. You're going to make almost $40,000 more. I say 40, 38, 48.8, right? 48.8 because she had planned on making 50, right? 48.8, right? You're talking almost a $50,000 difference, and you're upset about $1,200. I was doing hillbilly math, and I had 40,000. I subtracted the 1,200. This is why I need to take better show notes. This is what happens when you shoot from the hip with hillbilly math. You forget your numbers sometimes in your head. There we go. 48.8, right? And now she's at 97.6, and she is upset about a $48,000 difference because she has to pay for more for health insurance, and because she planned on growing 25%, and now she's grown 100% on the year. This is a classic example, and it actually is relatable because it's dollars and dimes. And I also found myself this last week frustrated in the exact same situation. I have a daughter. She lives out of state. My time with her is very limited because it's a 6-hour drive between my house and her mom's house. And so instead of having every other weekend like a lot of um, families do, we block it off so it's longer periods of time. So it's, remember, she has a 3-day weekend or a longer week. She has a fall break and a spring break and Christmas and Thanksgiving and summer. I get lots of time with her. And there's always lots of time, right? All at once, because I'm all about quality time and not quantity time. because a 6 hour drive for a kid that gets out of school at 4 o'clock on a Friday, getting home at 10 p.m., and then doing the same drive on Sunday afternoon, that's not quality. Anyway, so my daughter has a weekend coming up where they have a school flex day on Friday. So now it's a 3 day weekend. So typically we would drive Thursday afternoon. I'd pick her up. She gets back to my house about 9 o'clock because there's a time change. And then I would have her through Sunday. And it's okay. We make those 6 hour investments, both of us, on the drive day right on Thursday and the drive day on Sunday so that I can spend time with my daughter. We agreed to the weekend, right? We have it on paper. We got it agreed upon. And then last week, my ex reached out to me and said, "Hey, my daughter Penny has a lot of stuff going on this weekend. There's a fall festival celebration thing at her school on Thursday afternoon. And Friday is technically a school day, virtual learning. She needs help with some math. We also want to get her passport so she can go and start traveling out of the country here. And also, she has a soccer game and a volleyball game on Saturday morning and volleyball pictures." So, of course, my first heat of the moment thought is, you promised me a weekend. I already took off my time on Thursday afternoon. I already took off Friday and Saturday so I could spend time with her. I already had made some plans in my head, nothing drastic like school volleyball pictures or volleyball or soccer games, right? I had some plans in the works and I let it bother me for a whole day. And then I look back and my ex did say, "Hey, it's still your weekend. So if you want to, you can come down here and do these things with her." And I go, and then I'm thinking, "Oh, you're just trying to avoid the drive." And I'm getting frustrated. And I thought, hold on. I can either drive 6 hours on Thursday, round trip, 3 hours down, 3 hours back, or I can drive 6 hours straight through. Either way, my commitment is 6 hours. Either way, I'm committing to driving 6 hours on Sunday. So, what does it matter if I go there and back or I go one way? Okay, now the 6 hour investment is the exact same. I'm going to spend time with my daughter. I have my daughter the exact same amount of time. And actually, I have her more time because now instead of being in the car for those first 3 hours, I'm with her off the bat. So I actually have more quality time with her. Third thing, I get to spend time with her in her day to day life. I get to watch her play soccer and volleyball, which typically is only through pictures and videos. And I get to do this all in person. I get to meet some of her friends that I've only seen through FaceTime and things like that. And now I have this great gift in front of me, and yet I was tripping over the drive. I was tripping over the fact that the situation had changed. I was tripping over my own mental block for my frustrations of being in this situation over the last 9 years with our daughter with all this transportation. And yet, look at all the gifts I have because of this opportunity I was given. This is what happens to us in life. We get through life and we take these things personal, right? We focus on the gap and not the gain, as Dan Sullivan talks about in his book, The Gap and the Gain. We focus on what we don't have that we perceive that we want instead of all the things we have because of the work we've already put into it. And when we focus on the gap, we are feeding into that fear based lower lizard brain of scarcity and hate. And ultimately, what ends up happening is that's the brain that gets more airtime. That's the brain we start looking at the world of, right? That's the wolf that we continue to feed. So I just used three different analogies there: gap and the gain, the two wolves inside you, and also utilizing their big brain or our lower lizard brain, right? We're saying the same thing here. And in real life, we're not talking about the gap and the gain. And we're not like, "Oh, yeah, am I using my big brain today or my little brain today? Which brain is working?" Right? We're more focused on the words we're looking at. And now this is it. Is it an opportunity, right? Or is it a challenge? Is it a gift? I love the word gift. What is the gift in all of this? When we look back on our life and think about what happened to us, right? Happened to us. It's exactly that. Look what happened to us versus for us. Last week, I had the opportunity to do a lunch and learn, and one of the participants, I said, "Hey, talk about something in the past that bothered you, right? Still bothers you to this day." And this gentleman spoke about how he went to college for 4 years, and then he did teaching for 2 years. And after 4 years of college and 2 years of teaching, he realized he didn't want to be a teacher. And 6 years in student debt later, he was frustrated and upset that he perceived failed or quit at something that he was so passionate about before. And I said, "Well, you got your bachelor's degree, right?" "Yeah, I got my bachelor's degree." "All right. And you also found out what career you didn't want to do, right?" "Yeah, I found out the career I didn't want to do." "And now you have a great career that you love, right?" "Ah, I love my career now." "Okay. Look at all the gifts there. You got a degree, you figured out what you don't want to do in life, and you found something that was closer to your purpose. When we think about the four freedoms of life, for example, right? Freedom of purpose is one of the greatest four freedoms. It's time, purpose, money, relationships. So you found your purpose by going through those 6 years. What a gift that is. What a gift you have in front of you today. And so that's the opportunity. Look at the things that happened in your life up until this point and say, what is the gift in this? What do I have to look forward to because of what I've already gone through? I can look at 9 years of doing exchanges with my daughter. Those first couple of years were pretty ugly. And now my ex and I have figured out how to communicate, how to navigate this co-parenting relationship. And now I have the gift to spend a weekend with my daughter. I've never gone down to Indianapolis in all these years, never gone down to see my daughter in her world. And now I have that gift presented in front of me because I focused on the gift. The opportunity with focus is having a clear goal. And this is where you today have an opportunity to start before you even have the stimulus, right? When you have a stimulus and you react without a focus, you're going to react and not respond. In order to respond first, you have to have a goal in mind. I said from the top that I focus on quality, not quantity. And that's been very consistent over the last 9 years. Since the time we started getting divorced to going through the entire process, my goal was always quality time with my daughter. It was never quantity. That's why early on, when I had my daughter and she was young and in daycare, instead of picking her up at 6 or 7 at night after my ex got out of work, I would drive down round trip 8 hours to Peoria, Illinois, pick up my daughter at noon so she could take her normal nap noon to 2, and we could get back to my house by 3:30, 4 o'clock, and then have a normal Thursday night instead of a hectic rush Thursday night where now all of a sudden her eating and sleeping and all of her cycles were off, right? She was only 18 months old. This was a gift and an opportunity because from day one, my goal with her was to have a quality relationship, not quantity. I didn't sit there and say, okay, how many days do I have her? How many days can I have her so I can avoid paying child support or so I can avoid this or avoid that? No. What is the love? What is the abundance here? I look at 5 love languages. Quality time is one of the 5 love languages. Quality time, not quantity. Recently, I read 10x is easier than 2x. 10x talks about qualitative things you can do in life versus quantitative things you can do in your life. Going back to the example I said from day one, that business owner, she wanted to grow her business from 40,000 to 50,000, right? That's a very quantitative data, right? She ended up growing to 100,000. She will projected, right? And now she's frustrated about $2,400. Money gets in the way of wealth. Mark Twain said he never let schooling get in the way of his education. Money is this number. It's quantitative. I made this many dollars and this is how many dollars I have to spend. And nowhere in that does it say, this is the happiness I have. I'm down here in New Orleans with my parents. I had the opportunity to bring them down here and show them one of my favorite cities in the country. I'm not sitting here looking every time we get in an Uber, every time we go out to eat and say, oh, I paid for that Uber, so you got the next one. I paid for dinner, so you have the next one. Oh, I don't want to spend money on that. What am I going to do with the money? Take it with me? Keep saving it for a retirement that I may or may not ever have? Right? My bills are paid and I'm budgeted to be down here. So now I want to have quality time. Dollars and dimes here, I focus on the dollars of quality, not the dimes of quantity. And it's applicable in all aspects of life. I used to talk about how many hours I worked. I used to talk about any networking events I went to. I used to talk about how big the company was going to grow. And now I focus on how much time and quality time really do I have to myself? How many books have I read? And what did I learn from those books? Moreover, how have I impacted others today? How have I impacted myself today? What have I done to learn and to grow to give myself more quality nourishment? And now over the last few months and the last couple of years now since I've written my book, I've transitioned my whole life to quality. I'm no longer counting the dollars and counting the hours. I'm sitting back and reflecting on the quality time I've had, the quality life I've had the opportunity to live. And so for you, this week is very simple. Focus. What are your goals? Professionally, what are your goals? Personally, what are your goals? I'm challenging you. I'm just challenging you, right? You have the opportunity to give yourself 3 goals in the next 12 months. Something personal, something professional, and something that's not personal or professional. Something that maybe with your family, something maybe tied to a hobby or a sport that you're involved in. A simple goal. Earlier this year, my goal was to not have to wear my knee braces when playing volleyball. I stepped down. I went from the extras to the heavies to the mediums. I went down to my light braces, and my knee started hurting again, so I went to the medium braces. Well, I went down 2 levels to medium. My goal was to get down to no braces. I'm not going to make it there. My knees have spoke, right? It ain't happening right now. However, I already went down from the extra heavies to the mediums. So I've still made progress, missed my goal, and still, right from a quantity standpoint, from a quality standpoint, I'm playing better volleyball. My knees are solid because I decided to put in the work to try to achieve a goal. And ultimately, the quality goal I have is I wear my knee braces a lot less. My knees feel a lot better. I had a very clear goal in mind. I asked others along the way to be mentors of mine and give me some advice. I put work into myself, my sleeping, my eating, the amount I work out, all towards this common goal. I didn't focus on the dimes of how much money is going to cost, the time I got to put in. I kept my focus on what is going to be best for my knees so that I can play the best volleyball because playing really good volleyball is good for my soul. It nourishes me. I couldn't tell you my record of volleyball this year. I couldn't. I could care less if I won a championship or two along the way. We win league championships from time to time, right? 40 years old, still playing rec league volleyball. I still get free T-shirts every now and then. It's not about that. I can say, hey, my knees are strong and I'm still playing great volleyball and I'm making great connections with people along the way. I'm going to a wedding on Sunday coming up with a guy I've been playing volleyball with for years because I put the time into my knees. I put my time into my goals. So it's very clear, ladies and gentlemen, we all struggle tripping over dollars to pick up dimes. When you focus on the dollars, when you focus on your goals, every decision you make thereafter either serves or does not serve. Every thought you have serves or does not serve. Every word you use within your thought serves or does not serve. When you look at my book, the tagline to the book is all about serving you, right? It's not about good or bad. It's about retraining your brain to use language that serves you, not positive or negative, not good or bad. Very simple. Does this serve you? And when you start to look at life like that, you start eliminating things like easy or hard because you ask a better question. Does this serve me? If the answer is yes, we do it. Last week I was down in Chicago. I won Titan 100 last year, and I'm excited this year for the opportunity to possibly win again. And I was down in Chicago last year or last week at a panel, and there was this gentleman. He was a CFO for McDonald's Corporation Latin America for 24 years, and he decided to get out of that. He wanted to focus on his quality of life with his family. He got back to Chicago and he started restaurants with another gentleman. Along the way, they get all these opportunities to buy more things, new POS systems, new this, new that, new app, new delivery. And his very simple thing was, does it make the cooks better? Everything goes back to, does it make the cooks better? Better ingredients makes the cook better. Better processes that'll make it more efficient for the cooks make the cooks better. His sole focus is taking care of the cooks. Because when the cooks are taken care of, the food is taken care of. When the food is taken care of, the customers are taken care of. He looks at his role in the organization to take care of the cooks, surround themselves with the best leadership, the best equipment, the best processes, the best team, so that the food comes out great. He no longer focuses on the food. He focuses on the cooks, very clear, because he knows the cook's responsibility is to focus on the food. So for you, what are those cooks? What are those dollars? What are the milestones that are going to get you closer to your goals? The more specific your goal, the more clear every chance you have when you make a decision will be to say, yes, this does or does not serve my goal. When it does serve your goal, hit that multiply button. Get as much of that as you can. And then when it does not serve your goal, take it out back, shoot it in the face, and never talk about it again. You've already determined it does not serve your purpose in life, the freedom of purpose, one of the 4 freedoms that are the most important for your life. So that's my challenge for you this week. Figure out your goal and start testing every person, every relationship, every situation, every thought in your head, every decision you have coming up against that goal. As always, get out there, do the fucking thing, tell the fucking world who you are, and show the fuck up. We'll see you next week.